The Malcolm Baba Adkwart Studios, and your insurance, so Yambrechi, and I hear Adkwart Studios. The engineer named Sir Encherry in Ghana near a sea, airborne pie, said Bibisa in CBM. Kind Quenchia, a cosso. Nti yebesre adrabafo no ekwan na enye nti baby amonam bia no yesre mo mama ahweyie enimonim na fe ye mompa ye nso efisene ekoso Ghana no ano odin dodo ewiemhye na etitoye no obi a ka nadwen na mde nka mewo timi anam betie de America kame de be kire ni se yentwen nanka wo mo a ehwehwe black box no no emra bontin be kire kwan fa so a etihwe freezer se ye tie kwan fa so tihwe de ehia pa yie se eye fidie na ho odin na wo fom ana ye nkrofo timu fobi ana ma fidie na tihwe aha Ghana ntumi nyaa na watra saa ye nya nkrofo bi a omo so kyerɛkyerɛ kwan a baabi afidie ni tuye baabi ananka ese osi ane adwen a ɛwɔ ho sɛ ebia na yɛ saa kwan wei so nti na tihwe ye nkonkoti.
A joint use research analysis shows the Z-9 helicopter was just about 12 kilometers from Obuasi when it went down. Our latest visualization also reviews clusters of Galamsey sites surrounding the crash location. Now, joining me in studio is our lead data and research analyst, Kofi Ajay, who would be helping us understand the exact coordinates. We'll get to the Galamsey sites shortly, but help us understand the coordinates properly.
Well, in fact, we have every coordinate, and since the accident happened, tomorrow will be exactly 1 week. We've been trying to understand what really happened. And so we've been gathering data from official sources as well as experts like Kenneth Abuaje, who have been speaking on the issue. And this is what we are using to do our visualization. So what we are doing basically is to bring life to what the experts are saying and what is behind the numbers. So let's start from the Air Force Base where the plane actually took off from. This is where the helicopter left on its way to Obuasi. So this is the Air Force Base in Accra, where the Z-9 helicopter left to Obuasi. We understand that the estimated time for the entire journey was around 50 minutes. So when it left Accra around 9:12 a.m., it was expected to land somewhere at the Linkley Sports Stadium. And let me show you that this is where it was supposed to land at exactly or somewhere around 10 a.m. in Obuasi, or 10:02 a.m. in Obuasi at the Linkley Sports Stadium.
Minutes.
That's about, let's say, roughly, we don't really know the speed of the aircraft, so we can say between,
arrival time.
let's say, 55 to, let's say, 57 minutes that the aircraft was expected to land here. And we've been trying to understand that the entire journey was about 180 kilometers. And per our analysis that we've done, as at the time that the crash occurred, the pilot had done about 93% of the journey already. So he was just left about 7%. We've done the calculation, and at least he needed about 4 minutes to get to the Linkley Sports Stadium that you see here on the screen. This is where it was expected to land when it moved from the Air Force Base. Now, let me take you to the crash site for us to understand what really happened. So if you take a look at Sikaman, for instance, this is where Sikaman is. So you have Sikaman in this area where we've mapped in yellow for you to understand the distance even between Sikaman. And this is the exact spot where the crash happened. And when I show you the mountain and the mountain ridge and the range, you see why it was difficult and why that terrain is supposed to be investigated and possibly studied. That's why the crash actually occurred in that area. So let me take you to that crash point for you to understand what we are trying to put across. So this is the crash point. So let me give you a 3D of the crash point, and you see how steep the mountain is, right? So this is the entire area that we've been able to map for you. This is the area, the coordinate that we got. And so the entire space, if you use a certain radius, you get within this perimeter that we're expecting that maybe the plane would have crashed. So it was getting over this mountain, which per our calculation is about 1,000 feet tall, the highest point you can find on that stretch. Now, this 1,000 feet, let me bring it home. You know the football, pole, right? That's about 8 feet, right? So it means you need about 125. You pack the football pole on each other 125 times. That was the height of the point where the aircraft actually got, crashed. Let's do the 3D for you to understand. So you can see that this red line shows you the mountain. So anywhere you see that red line is indicating the mountain area. So this was an obstacle that the pilot had to maneuver over. If you look at it, you see that on that day, the terrain, the weather condition in that area is also a big factor. Just look at this cone, this aspect of the mountain, and you see the side is very steep. And even if you compare that to Sycamore, where the whole thing happened, there's a distance has been established. That's why it took them about 2 hours to move from here to the crash point. And then as you can see, the whole place is green, showing you that this is a forest zone, whether it's semi-deciduous or deciduous forest. This is a forest zone. We understand there are cocoa farms there and all of that. But it will take you about 2 hours to move from Sycamore to the crash point. So you can see the mountain here, and you see the crash point map in yellow for you to understand what really happened on that day.
I have a question. Between Sycamore and here, up the hill, if the helicopter needed to do by all means an emergency landing, do you envisage it being able to land in between Sycamore and here?
So the scenario is that if there was a problem and the pilot had to do an emergency landing, it possibly would have done it here, Sycamore. But the visualization we are getting shows you that it moved from Accra, was trying to get over this line. It means that it passed Sycamore before it got crashed. So the question is, did they have a technical problem after they passed Sycamore, or was it because of the weather after they passed Sycamore and they couldn't get over the mountain? All of these are questions that people are asking. But if it was supposed to do any form of emergency landing, it was supposed to be It was supposed to be before they get to the mountain, either at Sycamore or somewhere around I think Bofuedu or Diapompo, or there's another town called I forgot the name of that town, but there were at least three safe areas that if he had to do any form of emergency landing, looking at the pictorial view we are giving you, it was supposed to be done before, because anything after this is taking you to Obuasi. So let's look at the line to the Linkley Sports Stadium. So you see here,
right? And
many have said that they were looking for two places where the aircraft could have landed, either the Linkley Sports Stadium or the AGC Park. Okay. This is another spot that it could have actually landed. And that distance we are saying is between 12 to 13 kilometers. That could have taken the pilot about, let's say, at least 4 minutes to get to Obuasi. Now, based on what Colonel Retired First About just said yesterday, we understand the Mi-17 was deployed when the issue happened. It was deployed from Tamale to Kumasi. Let's try and also visualize that for you. So once that happened, you see the MI in the yellow line moving from Tamale. Let's try and do a 3D analysis. The MI moves from Tamale, was stationed here to support the Boko conflict, moved to Kumasi to help with the search operation. And we understand the time they got there, the locals have already been able to assist the rescue team to find the place. Then there was another aircraft, a transport aircraft that moved from Greater Accra to Kumasi. That was a transport, aircraft that moved to also assist. And we understand it was the CASA 125 that brought the bodies to Accra. That also moved from Accra to also join in Kumasi. So we've been trying to actually understand what may have happened that day, and all the visualization we are showing you shows that the entire thing happened straight from here, the Air Force Base in the Greater Accra region, where in about 50 minutes time, they were expecting the plane to land somewhere at the AGC or the Linkley Sports Stadium. If you put this right, let's see where the Linkley Sports Stadium is. And that's where we were expecting it to land.
That's
and
a
unfortunately,
near safe arrival. Yeah?
Absolutely. If you look at it, that would have taken the aircraft about 50 minutes to land there, but unfortunately it didn't land there, and that obstacle we've been focusing on is this crash point where the whole thing happened. And if you can see the visual, just look at it. very, very steep
cold.
mountain. I mean,
Very cold,
you can see it here that the entire area, if you look at the terrain, that's a very tall mountain that the aircraft, we all don't know. The scenario is that maybe it was already over, it had a problem, fell, or it was flying low, crashed into it. Nobody knows. But these are questions that we're actually
looking for answers.
Yeah, for answers too.
But, I mean, you have also been digging and you've been discovering or uncovering some possible mining sites around the crash area, particularly.
Well, so there is a town called Akwesi Nkrumah near the place, right? That's about the entire acre of land is more than 200 acres in terms of that town. And what we understand that we were able to spot more than 10 pockets of illegal mining activities. And if you look at a space of about 200 acres, all degraded as a result of illegal mining, you can actually find that side. If you compare it to where we see the Sycaman at the place, and you can see it. This is Sycaman itself, where we didn't find any galamsey spots anyway. But if you go to a place, this is a place I'm trying to show you. If I can get that place, there are places that you see illegal mining activities all over, and we were able to count about at least 10
colored areas
right?
between the
exactly.
green areas,
so you
right?
see pockets of galamsey activities, and so it's unfortunate that this issue actually happened. And you've seen the crash point, and this is so amazing. If you look at the unfortunate situation that happened at the crash point, and we've been trying to visualize the whole thing, and you can see the, I mean, very, very steep area. And this, according to the exact coordinate we got from our reporter, we've been able to map this area as the possible place that the plane may have actually crashed, trying to right after.
Fast too free and crying. Nanka beka kosi obuasi agudibia ho nanka o mafakai akoba bia nanka o mkoye enhyiamu ho na osi ne beye 17 minutes na kakra bi efiri obuasi ekono na fofi antoata yantimi enware abamu na ohwe ni se ya ade ba ko a it was a diba Ghana yen kabumu because enya NDC phone ko na epe nkabu ehwe kwanya fidie no fa so a ebehwe form ena nye MPP phone ko a eyebo party no ene o my Ghana na mesrese wo mo ntimi the technical eyes a mbetimi a chechese no eya yesre wo mo say ye dey adwen ebu niema bi na kofa yuni abre o man no ya ye ntu ebu ase na ye kan sem so ye kan sem a obi etia ebeboa o my Ghana every say nipa ne ye na ma pre ne tifie ye dia ene nka Ghana nanka ha setina yihu na hwan na awokwaye ni mu. But I didn't so a jar free baby and son I caught ya or crying. Now see ya yet to me abwa ne was a boa nubiana ya send the quite bedino. Ajubro the say Ghana ni bia Ghana bebia set monfa we nyama amanya semna MY. There was a nipa na tree and a nipa na ma. You am share na tifi ya dia ene kwa bia so no ye nsabeka wo mo kwa bia so no ye nsabeka wo mo ti ye besre mo mo manya nkrofo a ye be hase adwene ye ma no na ye mompa ye si mfidie no so aye dada ye mfidie na aye dada enra no obisi aye dada ba ma ne kwa mo anto mo amanya se no bese aye dada ye sesa no fi se ewiemhyan etua obi ntumi nyina wiem ho no a repair si Ghana ni bia nkwa ho hia Ghana ni bia nkwa ho hia ti ye momodin na ye hwehwe mu yie na fe ye mfidie no so ye tua na sense ayi kokko area ba ko so on the otimi lande emwo sa na mutu nipa no yakoma ti mo hwe mfidie ni yi na won so na wo kom wo ho no yeso ya na ato obu ase obi amotwene nso wo kom na yempe ni sibre yempe kwan papa wei achi no bibi bone bi sei ensi demom yatumi de niema gu akwa mu ye edo ase so anya mbrachi na anya mrahwe bye bye